Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NascardRadio. This is episode number 24. I'm your pal, Val, and with me today is the amazing Jason. Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Val. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. A lot of stuff going on. Racing's back kind of in full swing, and I see that looks like maybe baseball's coming back.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it yet, but it's coming back for sure. It's going to take me a little bit to get into it.
Side note, I've been doing the Oots baseball, whatever, and working on that and having a lot of fun with that and eating all those chips. And I was like, man, I collected the baseball set here, and there might not be any baseball. So I'm glad to see baseball is coming back. But it's one of my other sports I like. So, whereas probably most of us have started out collecting baseball cards first, then and going into other sports. But we got a great show. We're going to talk about Chronicles is coming up next month. Not that we get a lot of releases, but I'm looking forward to the Chronicles, and maybe we'll talk about some wax. I've seen some rookies selling on Checking My Cards, and I can go over some of the cards that are moving on Checking My Cards now. I see some folks in there with racing now and starting to maybe trying to flip. And we will talk about, I think, the Mojo Red redemptions, I think, are starting to hit. So
free plug of the week there, Mojo.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chronicles is slated, I think, for August 7th, if I remember right. One of the things that I kind of get frustrated with, and I see the other sports, is, they do those first off-the-line boxes and how there's a, massive bounty on these things and all the bots are going crazy trying to get it first off the line. But, NASCAR, we kind of get gypped.
Yeah, I think I spent so much time the other day trying to, get a box of Bowman Sapphire off the tops and, spent all this time on my phone and just kept thinking, like, why aren't they doing this for NASCAR? Now, have they ever done it? I thought they had once, but do you know, have they done a first off the line for NASCAR?
Last year during the Prism, they did the white sparkle pack. And
okay,
for the dealers, I think I don't know if it's 12 boxes to a case. Every case that the dealer got, they got 12 sparkle packs as an incentive. But nothing, already packaged up or maybe a special insert in every pack. So I guess it takes a lot of pre-planning to get that packaged out and boxed and to do that. So, but I sure wish maybe Panini could do something like that. There's not, there's so many on-demand cards for the other sports and the first off the line for the other sports. It'd be nice maybe to see Panini pull some of that stuff back, because they used to have the Panini Instant, which is one of the ones that I really enjoyed. They had massively low print runs, so as a collector they're awesome, but I guess as a company, Panini, they're losing money doing the Panini Instant. But
right, and not to insult anybody's intelligence, but the first off the line, just to give a recap of what it is, basically if a release is coming out in 2 weeks, they'll do a first off the line, say today, and there's usually either like an added hit or a first off the line exclusive parallel in those boxes. So it's the same product, but typically there is something different that has an added incentive. The people go crazy for it, trying to get it off the website, off of Panini's website. And, much experience as I have with that, trying to buy multiple boxes of, each one, it's tough. The website doesn't always work. People get frustrated very easily. And it's not just Panini. It happens with Topps whenever they have some of their releases coming out, like the Bowman Sapphire that I mentioned. But they have these releases and there's people clamoring for them, and there's usually a good flip to them, good resale value, but there's also those added incentive hits. But if they could just get this website, their servers, to be able to handle the traffic, it would be such a much more pleasurable experience. But I also think if they're looking for something to kind of jumpstart or put some more interest into the racing cards, I think they need to do more first off the line. But, maybe the White Sparkle, maybe that was their test run and they weren't happy with the response. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of the NASCAR card collectors are driver specific. So everybody kind of runs and tries to get the White Sparkle for their driver. And I don't know if, all the different with Prism, for example, there's the driver card, and then there's like one of an all-star, and there's like 4 or 5 different cards of that one driver. So I know everybody, runs for it, and then or clamors for it, and then when they get it, they're satisfied, they're done. So I don't see a lot of sales after that, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I know with baseball, it's, so highly collected, and you have the folks that are buying it and flipping it, and then you have the wanted or bounties for boxes, the people with the bots buying it and flipping it for the baseball and some other stuff. So, the website, your thing, is very frustrating, just trying to get maybe Topps Project 2020s and trying to get those proofs that are, I guess there's 20 of them, whenever they come out.
Right.
So as Panini site's frustrating, Topps site's frustrating, I'm sure Leafs is frustrating when they have some of their, I think they did some kind of presidential thing or some kind of autograph box or whatever it was. And it's crushing. I still don't know why, being in IT, why they're not using Azure or Amazon's cloud-based so they can ramp up the servers when there's demand for it. But anyway, and get off on a tangent. But it would be nice for them to do something like that with NASCAR. I'm more of a set collector than a player collector, but then when it comes to the rookies, whatever, I'll try to get them and get them signed. So I'm super excited for Chronicles. I know you have a lot of experience with Chronicles. This is going to be something new for the NASCAR card collector because we've never seen Chronicles. I don't really collect Chronicles in the other sports. So, the sell sheet's out, and the cards look beautiful. They've got some of the mock-ups for the Crusade and Spectra and Illusions of Bubba Wallace and Haley Deegan and Chase Elliott, the autographs. There's going to be 2, I won't say flavors, there's a retail and a hobby. And it's kind of, this is replacing Victory Lane. Victory Lane for the last 2 years have come out in May, June. So this is kind of replacing it. But it's kind of packaged similar where it's 8 cards a pack, 6 cards a box. But Victory Lane was 4 a box, 16 bucks a case. That's the same for hobby. And then Blasters, 8 cards a pack, 4 packs a box. So the Blasters is one of those, 1 autograph or 1 memorabilia per box. And then the hobby has 6 packs and look for 3 autographs and 1 memorabilia per box on average. So Victory Lane was 2 autos and 2 memorabilia per box, so it was 4 packs. So its little pack is a little bit different. Now there's going to be some never-before-seen brands in the Chronicles. So saying in Spectra, Phoenix, Ascension, Cornerstone, Crusade, and more.
I would imagine Cornerstone is going to be the one that's the most popular out of this whole. I mean, besides Prime, but people are familiar with that. But as far as the new ones go, I think Cornerstones is going to be the one that everybody flocks to.
Now, what got me was that score autograph with Joe Logano.
Yeah.
That was screaming, was that 1989 or 1990 score football or whatever?
Yeah.
Or was that, am I off? And then
you're
going to have
it's a good card. I just hope obviously in the mock-ups, they tend to use on-card signatures, so I'm hoping that that's the case because of the way that card is designed. It has that nice little white cloud, that whiteout area. So I'm hoping those are on-card, but, we'll see.
Now, they being Panini, Donruss is a sticker, but the Prism and Chronicles or Victory Lane were on card. So these should be on card.
Okay.
And the Prime patches are really nice. And that's one of the things I like about Victory Lane. The first year, you got pretty much a 1-1 patch in each half case, which were awesome. They had Monster Energy patches and stuff like that. And then last year they didn't do it, and they put all those Prime patches in Prime. But the Prime patches look nice. So a lot of folks love those big patches of the logos of Twitter or Monster. Well, it's not Monster anymore, but their brand or of course a Gray Galding Panini patch would be awesome.
Yeah, I would hope that they would put those in there. I'm sure they will, but I'd like to see them first, and then I'd like to see what they would sell for if it doesn't go straight into somebody's collection. I'd like to see what the price is on those, just because it's such a unique first time thing. We don't have necessarily upper deck patches for hockey cards. This is the first time in history. So I'm curious to see what happens with those.
Yeah, the sheet metal and the patches for Gray Galding's stuff is really cool. To your point, where you have the manufacturer that makes the product in the product.
Right.
So, a nice piece of sheet metal that spells part of Panini would be really cool. That were able to make out, or maybe you do like the Prime, where you can make the big logo into, where they show where it's been broken up, maybe part of the Panini hood instead of being fabric. It's sheet metal. And then they spell out the Panini on the hood. So I've been trying to contact.
Go ahead, finish your.
I've been trying to contact his race team and try to get me some sheet metal. So
I can say I tried last year, right, not too far after it was announced. I think I tried last year after the first time that he raced in the Panini car. And obviously nothing had happened to the car, so there wasn't really anything to get rid of. But I can't remember the guy's name that I talked to, but he was super nice and, didn't blow me off or anything like that, and answered emails, and he was very nice about the situation. But going back to what we were saying about the possible Panini patches or, relic cards, if I was Panini, if I was Tracy or Jason Howarth or whoever, I would try to get some sort of marketing and put a bounty out for the Panini patch cards and say, find these, send them in to us, and we'll give you, another box or a prize pack or something. Make some excitement for something that's a first time thing, and see where it goes and see if it adds to an increase in sales.
Yeah, I like that idea. It made me think of, and I don't know if you saw this on Twitter or not. I think it was on Twitter. The guy's name is Phil's Pulls, and I think he's a player. And he also has
a video yesterday
where he marked the first 10, I think. And if you get one of those in a box and you contact him, he'll give you a prize. I guess it was another box or something. And I thought that was really cool.
So he's going to have autographs in an upcoming Topps Archives fan favorites set. And he made a video on YouTube under Phil's Pools, and I highly suggest anybody watches it that has any interest in trading cards, just to see the process of how it goes down when players are sent cards to sign. But so basically what he said is he would mark. I forget what he said. He would mark each. I can't remember if, like you said, it was the first. It couldn't have been the first 10 because there's a 1 of 1. So I was thinking maybe it was the first 1. So like if it was a 1 out of 150 or 1 out of 99, whatever, that he was going to write on them or that he wanted them. But yeah, he basically did the bounty thing himself on his own cards.
Yeah, he put Phil's pulls on that one card for each numbering set or whatever it is. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, not to go off, but I thought that was a pretty cool video that showed him opening the package from Topps, and it shows how the cards arrive, how they're sent, what instructions they get. Like I said, I highly suggest you watch this if you collect cards.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, having done this for so long and seen some of the stuff, you're right. If you have not seen that, if you're not familiar with that, it is a great video because, to your point, he's got those 600 count boxes and he's got the pens. Yep. And they tell him what they're due on each one, and he said how long it takes him to do it, whatever, and it seems kind of glamorous, and he said he does enjoy it, whatever, but it's still a little bit of time to sign all those cards for everybody. So it is really cool. But it made me think of that. But I think that's a great idea to put some. Topps has the golden wrapper, and I know Panini does the fan VIP in Daytona. But it'd be cool maybe. And I think I can't remember if you get other products for that as well. But it just seems that. That is a different level of kind of chase than entering a 10-digit number or whatever and waiting a couple of weeks or months to find out if you kind of won anything. It's kind of more that Willy Wonka and the golden ticket.
Right. Which, by the way, I'm so glad that you brought that up because I totally forgot to enter my codes. So now I'm going to have to go find my cards and enter my codes.
Yeah, I don't know, if you go out to the website, we can talk about it. I kind of looked it over, and there's a whole list of when they draw during the, what week. I guess they draw every week and break it down, and then what the odds are, or the different types of prizes they have. And so I'm wondering if now is the best time to enter your codes. If you have a bunch of them, maybe. Then, right when Dunners came out, everybody was probably entering codes. We have this lull here until the beginning of August. And when Chronicles open, it'll have the codes in it, and then there'll be a big influx. So, I don't know.
Right.
I guess the mathematician would have to let me know. But I'm with you. I think I need to enter some of my codes. We'll see. I did get a shirt last year, which was pretty cool. But back to Chronicles. So there's all kinds of stuff in it. There's all kinds of those brands and parallels, I'm assuming, of each. That looks like there's blue, red, purple, gold, and black, a 101 for the Chronicles 40-card set. That's the base, and there's subsets, Ascension, 1 in 3 cards, a 20-card set, Score, 1 in 3, 20-card set, and I guess a limited 1 in 3, 1 per 3 packs, 20-card set. And there's parallels again, blue, red, purple, gold, black. Phoenix, Crusade, and Titan are 1 in 4, and there are 25-card sets. Also, I don't know if I said select, but select's 1 in 4. Then the Illusion is 1 in 6. Pedal to the Metal, 1 in 4. Status, 1 in 7. Those have parallels as well: green, blue, red, purple, gold vinyl, number to 1. And Unparalleled is 1 in 10. And the Spectra, 1 in 5. That's a 100-card set. And then Unparalleled is a 15-card set. So I think, like you were saying, there's a bunch of stuff in there. It's kind of exciting. Like I said,
for the person that doesn't want the same pack twice, this is definitely the one because I think you could open a case of Chronicles and not be disappointed because I think the mixture would fall so nicely that every pack, every box was different.
And I was looking out at Steel City, Blowout, and DNA, which are kind of, I call them the big three.
Right.
Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, and Tyler Reddick. They're running about 120 a box. I don't know what the baseball and basketball or whatever, all those come out. So, but I think that's about the price range that Prism comes out at. So
I'm going to try to go off of memory on this one. I'm not going to look it up, so if it's wrong, sue me. But
yeah, all our stuff is off the cuff, so
yeah,
don't hold us accountable for anything we say. So
that the other sports, I want to say the other sports were 3 hits, not 4. Like I said, could be completely wrong, but everything else seems to line up pretty well. I thought, I'm going back to 2018, but I want to say when it was 2018 baseball, I thought it started around 90 a box. So I was a little surprised to see 120, but if I'm right in saying that the baseball was 90 and it was 3 hits, you're getting 4 for 120, so that would make more sense. Plus, we're 2 years newer, so stuff goes up over time. So it's a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be right at 100, but if like I said, if we're talking an extra hit, then the 120 makes sense and kind of falls in line with everything else.
Yeah, right now everything is so hot. Even the old NASCAR wax is hot. But so, if you got the pockets, I guess hobby is the way to go, because it looks like the Prime Jumbo patches featuring 30 drivers and 22 parallels all are numbered 2 or less, and that's in the hobby. Now, the exclusive for the Blaster is going to be green parallels.
Is it green? So green of what? Is it like?
It just says look for Blaster exclusive green parallels.
Okay.
So I guess let me go back and look at this other sheet here for green. So green is not in the base. Purple gold. Where is green sitting at? That's a 100-card set there. Emerald Pulsar, number 5. Oh, neon green kaleidoscopes.
I was going to say, the only reason I asked is because with something like Prime and Cornerstones and what's the other one? The Phoenix. Don't imagine getting too many of those hits, those autographs and relics in the retail blasters. That's why I was wondering if the green was maybe exclusive to the Score brand or the Spectra, where there's a bunch of base cards for Spectra.
So it says Parallels Green, 1 in 16, and that's for Illusions, Pedal to the Metal, Status. Then there's Parallels Neon Green Kaleidoscope, numbered to 49. That's in Spectra. That's a 100-card set. I don't see green. That makes sense. So it's probably somewhere in there. Kind of like the blasters for Donruss. You got orange, and then you got orange optic as well, where you got one of those. So, again, it's totally new for racing card collectors. This is the first time that Panini's thrown Chronicles at us, so it's pretty exciting. And then, going off of wax with this whole COVID and not having anything available, prices for NASCAR wax has actually increased. The blasters went up to about $15 a piece, and they were some of the big three, they were selling them at $5 if you bought 20. So basically $100 for 20 blasters. But they went up to $14, $15 a blaster during that time. Now, I'm seeing some of that stuff come back down, but hobby boxes, that 2018 Prism has been red hot, and I've noticed some of the sales on Check My Cards. The blasters, they were like $7 a piece or whatever. They were that way at the National. Nobody wanted the 2018 blasters, but it seems like because of the Deegan and the silvers, I noticed that the silvers are starting to sell better, or people are flipping them, and I've seen a couple of my sales where they've taken them and doubling the price on the silver. So, like Steel City's got 2018 Prism blasters for $15 basically. Do they have any hobby? No. And it seems like that 2018 hobby Prism is dried up. And I think only one of the companies have the wax, and I think they want, was it $100? Give me 1 second. Yeah, so they're $100, and that's from Blowout. DNA does not have any at this time, but they seem like they're the only ones with Select Hobby. I remember during Black Friday they were in the low 50s. It's $140 a box for 2017 Select Hobby box.
I mean, that's crazy
that's
for any sport, let alone NASCAR.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that with a Panini racing product. So I know some of the guys are diehard, and maybe they were busting cases of it. They're looking for that black checkered. There's a couple of guys that they just love the black checkered in Select. So it was in 2016 Prism Racing. They had that black checkerboard. They were nice looking, and they did it as well in 2017 Select Racing, and they're sharp. But they did not bring it in 2018 Prism or 19 Prism. So maybe the folks are working on a master set. So anyway, those blasters, let me see. I don't think they're cheap either. I think they're $15. So I've noticed with everything going on that the cheap NASCAR wax is kind of drying up.
Which is a shame, because I'm probably not the only one that said, I'll get it one day, and kept putting it off, and now it's like not quite out of the price range I was hoping for, but in that, like, it's not so easy to just grab one.
Yeah, we've gone over like some of the sales in the last, I guess, couple of weeks, and stuff that I was buying and just kind of hanging on that I thought was, underpriced, and either do a little bit of markup or whatever. But Darrell Wallace Jr. has been moving, and Teresa Earnhardt. They won gold and a Paul Menard rookie autograph. It was like $1.50 for the gold version. I thought for $1.50, sure. I thought it was worth the $5. So I bumped it to $5, and it sold. I don't think I had it. Did I have it a few months? Probably a few months. And Tyler Reddick's been selling. He had this last race in Talladega. He won one of the stages, and we've talked about him before. The kid's really good. He won the championship, for folks who don't remember, the Xfinity Championship back-to-back last year and the year before with two different teams. And he's running for Richard Childress Racing. He's running the second car behind Austin Dillon's in probably, I don't know if you want to give him a pecking order. He's more the top dog, and Tyler Reddick second. But somebody came in and bought a bunch of the Tyler Reddick's and has been flipping them, and even some of his autographs, his rookie autographs, which were 2016 Prism. So I think the folks are coming in there maybe from other sports, and I'm guessing it's basketball folks because they're hitting on the Prisms. I think Prism is like one of the key, right, for basketball collectors.
Yeah.
So I like the Prism. I've been buying up if I find cheap silvers or cheap colors, just because I think they're pretty sharp if you have them in hand, and I think the Prism versions of Prism or the silvers or whatever, they grade better than the base. I don't know if I told this story.
It seems to be that way, yeah.
What's that?
It seems to be that way, yeah.
So I think I sent in 8 or 9 2016 Eric Jones base Prisms, and then I sent in, I had a couple of maybe a red and a silver, and so I sent all that in. When I get them back, every one of the base were PSA 9s. I was like, oh, man, you got to be telling me every one of those. But then the Prism Red or the Prism Silver, I think I got 10s on them. So I was like, all right, lesson learned. I should have probably sent in less prisms as a, toe in the water. So even I've been collecting for a long time and been grading for a long time, and, I make mistakes too. So, so that's one of the reasons why I go after maybe the silvers and the different colored versions. And then one of the other cards that seems to be selling was Wendell Scott. And he's in the 1989 Winner's Circle. And if people are not familiar with him, he was the first African-American driver to run in NASCAR. And I think it was from 1961 to 1973. He actually won a race in Jacksonville. He's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I think he was inducted a few years ago. Unfortunately, when Scott passed away, I think it was 91 or 92 maybe. But he won that race in Jacksonville. I probably won't do the story justice, but it was in Jacksonville, and it was, I think it was late December. And back then, if it was like in 62, is counted towards the 63 season because it started in late December, then stopped for a while, and then started back up. But he was an underfunded team, and basically it was him and his kids were his crew chief, and back then you actually drove the car you were going to race to the race. You didn't really have a trailer or any of that stuff, but the scoring was nowhere near like it is now with all computerized and everything else. So family members or whatever kept track of the different cars. And when you have a short track, they start looping and start lapping. But anyway, he was not credited for the win. Buck Baker was actually credited for the win. But then after the trophy was awarded and everything else, then Wendell was declared the winner. And the story goes that he never got the trophy. NASCAR did give him a replacement trophy. I don't think it was the same exact one. And Buck Baker's family said nobody knows where that trophy is. But Wendell Scott was credited for the win. And like I said, he's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. His rookie, he's actually in the 89 Winner's Circle, like I said, and the 1989 Max set. The 1989 Max set, he's in like this little subset inside the full set, but in the Winner's Circle, one of my favorites was an issue that was given away at 9 different tracks. It's a 45-card set, 5 cards at different tracks. So you got 5 cards in one track, you had to go to another track, and you got 5 different cards. And there's Say No to Drugs, and there was also a program to, in schools in North Carolina, I think they could sign up and get cards as well. So it's a real tough issue. It's black border, so I'd seen like 3 of those sell through on Check My Cards. So, but those are kind of the racing sales that I've seen recently.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, because we talked before we started recording that story of Wendell, because, I still consider myself an outsider, and that's a name I had not heard before. So it was definitely something I'm going to look into now.
Yeah, he was from Danville, Virginia, and his kids or grandkids, I think there might be a museum there. I have not been there yet. It's on my list to do. When I went to the African American Museum, they have a sports room or area, and I looked for him there. He was not there. I asked one of the gentlemen about him, and they didn't know anything about it or about him. I did talk to the Wendell Scott family at one of the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and he said that the only thing they have is Richard Pryor's driver suit from the movie Grease Lightning. I think the African American Smithsonian could do a better job of him, but he's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and I think what was it? There was a TV show on. Is it Timeless? There was a 2-part episode that had to do with Wendell Scott, and that. And I don't know if I should say this or not, but basically the director, when I was talking to one of the family members, the director that did Creed 2, he's working on, or he was investigating about possibly doing a story of the family, or not the family, but Wendell Scott's story. And I think there's a book as well called, I want to say it's called Hard Driven. I read that book. That was really good. It's called Hard Driving, the Wendell Scott story. And that was published in 2009. The author is Brian Donovan. And that was, like I said, an interesting book. He was majorly underfunded. I think there was a story in there about them. He ran Ford and maybe Ford trying to, or him being a Ford factory, because back then Ford had factory teams like Holman and Moody. The Wood brothers are out of Virginia. They run Ford as well. And some of the stories go that Wendell needed something, but he would get used parts or car chassis from prior years from other shops, if that makes sense. So say if it's a 65, everybody's running 65 Fords, and he's running 64 Fords. So I think one of the stories was that he needed some parts, and then when he went to the Wood Brothers, he got some parts, and one of the parts that he really needed was a new part in that stack. So I think some of the teams helped him as they could, but again, you don't want them too good because you don't want him beating you. So as a competitor. So it's a good book, and it's a really great true story worth everybody knowing about. So if you want to talk about or wrap up with the Donruss redemptions.
Okay. We can do that. So we talked on a previous episode. We're on 24, so it might have been 20, 21, something like that. We talked about the Blaster. It looked like it was a Blaster retail exclusive redemption program through Panini, where if you bought, and I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but if you bought and submitted the wrappers from retail packs, it was something like 25 packs or something like that. Do you remember the number?
I believe it is 20. I'm double checking it right now because it's in my browser history. Send in 20 retail wrappers along with a check or money order for $4.95. So basically, I think you got 7 per blaster. So you needed basically 3 blasters. So basically $60 and $5. So $65 for a pack of
Red Mojos. So 5 cards, and you're talking $13 a piece per card average.
Oh, wow.
I've seen them start popping up on the Nuts Facebook group, and then they're also on eBay. And just kind of glancing, there's one eBay seller that has them listed. I forget the terminology. It's basically one listing with everybody that he has available. But cheapest I saw was about $10 or $11 a card. But there I saw a couple that were up above $100. So I know we talked and said these were going to be pretty short printed. Don't believe they're numbered, and I don't think I would be surprised if the print run gets released. But I think this is one of those things where the driver collectors, if you see your driver pop up one time on eBay, you better snatch it up while you can, because I don't know if you'll get another chance. I think these are going to be really hard to find.
Yeah, Logan's a friend of the show. He bought a bunch. I think he's got 10 packs coming, and he said he hasn't heard anything yet of them shipping. So I think with everything going on, there was a delay naturally. But it's awesome that those are starting to hit. I'm still trying to find some more Donruss retail by me so I can at least buy. I think I bought 1 blaster, buy 2 more blasters, so at least I could get the Red Mojo pack. But they're awesome. That optic, I think it's a 100-card set. And I still love the optic. I think that's, the regular or the silver. I'm curious. I had heard somebody said, in basketball where Prism right now is the king, but, could optic overtake Prism in time? What's considered the better card to have. So.
Right. And it's one of those things where Prism is definitely one, and it will be a while before it gets knocked off. But it's close to Prism being 1A and Optic being 1B, and this is a complete personal opinion. I wonder if it has anything to do with Prism. It's just Prism by itself. But with Optic is like Topps Chrome to Topps for Optic and Donruss. I probably said that wrong. So like how Topps has the base flagship set, and then they do a Topps Chrome version, Optic is like the Topps Chrome version of Panini's Donruss.
Yes.
I always just kind of wonder if, because there is essentially a Chrome and a paper version, if that ever has any sort of impact on something like that, because it seems like Optic kind of not came out of nowhere, but had a big charge the past couple of years, and it could have been the rookies that were in the class. It could have been completely rookie related for basketball and has nothing to do with anything else. But I'm with you. I think the Optic is a pretty nice runner-up, we'll say, for Prism. But as far as pricing goes, they're pretty close, at least in the other sports. So
yeah, I'm looking at the Optic Red Mojo, and that design, that pattern in there really makes it look very nice. And I think, you're right about that kind of parallel to the base Donruss. And, there are a few rookies in that Donruss set. Haley Deegan and, of course, the Derek Krause, which I don't know if I talked about him before. I like him. I went out to Sports Lots and was buying a few of his 2019, I think it's next in line, and maybe some of his 2020 rated rookies. Of course, I'll have to send some of those to the shop and get him to sign. So that's the other thing, too, is I didn't tell you about this before, but I think now is probably a good time to start sending cards to the shops. I did see a friend of the show sent me an image that Haley Deegan had put out where she's signing. She's got about 5 or 6, maybe 8 items on her desk, and there are cards. Of course, they did the no-no. They have the paper clips to the paper or the envelope.
Yeah.
So, but she looks like she's signing, and I was going to send some naturally to Richard Petty. And, and full disclosure, the 2019, I saw this the other day, and I haven't sent it off yet, but it was a 2019 Prism National Pride, and it's Bubba Wallace and the car, and Mount Rushmore, I think, is behind it. It's actually a beautiful card. And I went and bought a few of the Prism silver version, and I'm going to try to send those off and have him sign those. I think they'll be actually absolutely gorgeous. So, like I said, now maybe might be the time to start ramping up and sending cards out to the rookies, to Tyler Reddick and John Hunter Nemechek and guys in the truck or the Xfinity Series, and get these signed. I'm sure we've talked about maybe before. Make sure you powder those or do something to take the gloss off of them. So, sorry, I went on a tangent for everybody, but always trying to let you guys know what I'm doing. Kind of full disclosure, and also probably giving you guys ideas that maybe you're not thinking about. And that's usually with, I don't even want to say investing, but trying to beat the trend or whatever it is. Thinking about what people might be doing next, not necessarily to invest, whatever. But I think we talked about this before, Jason. If I can, buy a couple things and flip them, and then use that for my PC or whatever, it just helps try to make this a little more affordable, I guess.
Right, and like you said, full disclosure, I'm not afraid to admit things. Like, I'll be the guy at Walmart clearing the shelves on a product, and I'll be the guy that's happy that I flipped the card on check out my cards for 50 cents, and if I bought it for 25. So I'm not the high-end guy by any stretch, but I'm going to try to, fund my collection as any way that I can, especially if I can flip and not take money out of my own pocket, So, I'm right there with you. I'm going to hustle a little bit and then, enjoy the spoils if I can. So.
Yeah, no, I've done that, and I've done pretty good, I would say. I don't even know I guess maybe we haven't talked in a while, but there was a Harry Deegan 2019 Celebrity Signatures, and it's an e-pack exclusive. So if you heard this one already, you had to do something special on e-pack to get this Celebrity Signatures, and there's only 25 of them. Now, there's not numbered. I think Upper Deck totally dropped the ball with that. But if you know the card and whatever, so somebody had the card and Check Out My Cards, and they put it to auction on eBay. I bid it on eBay and won, and then I was able to use my money from Check Out My Cards and pull it into Check Out My Cards and into my account.
Oh, nice.
Granted, you had to pay more money than what you won it for on eBay to use your Check Out My Cards funds, but it was, whatever the percentage is. It's
right.
I don't know if it was 5 or 10% or whatever, whatever it is. It's because Check My Cards hits you when you kind of cash out, and I guess they consider it like that. But anyway, I was able to do that because, to your point, doing these kind of maybe these little flips, you buy it for $5 and you sell it for 10.
Right.
If it's small, or I think I picked up a first or second year Kevin Harvick, it must have been second year, for 7 cents. The guy's a future Hall of Famer, and at 7 cents, and I think the next one's selling for $1 or $1.50. Well, you put it out there for $1.40, whatever, or $1, and if it sells, great. If not, I got 7 cents in it. So
7 cents. Yep.
Anyway, so you do kind of have to. There is some risk involved. It's not all guaranteed, but I'll take the 7 cents risk as opposed to the $100 or $200 Zion.
Oh, I'm totally with you, 100% on that.
And again, if you guys are the $100 or $200 Zion, so you knock yourself out. I guess it's all your stomach for risk. So I don't know if you have any more topics you want to talk about, Jason.
No, nothing I can think of right now.
Gone on for a while here and give everybody back some time. I guess we had talked about this a little bit, or maybe we didn't. The last, I think it was 2 episodes, I had attended some Panini Q&As. Basically, if you're not on Twitter, I would recommend Panini posted some invitations to attend a Q&A with the driver through Panini, and you had to just reply back maybe with your favorite race moment or whatever, and they, I guess, drew some names, and you could attend the Zoom call. So I recorded those in the last 2 episodes. First one was with Greg Galding. The next one was Cole Custer, and then Greg Galding again, which they're actually pretty interesting. I didn't realize these guys, well, I assume they did collect stuff when they were kids, and they do talk about that. I'm going to try to work on having Greg Galding on the show, so I got to work and try to schedule that and get him on. And if anybody has any questions for Greg, to let me know. I will forward them on. But he's a real interesting kid, nice guy. I remember him from 2012 Fanfare. His first card is in that, and his sponsor at the time, and this is the reason why I know, because it was Krispy Kreme. And if you eat donuts or you're around Krispy Kreme or remember the craze about Krispy Kreme, I guess it was 10, 15 years ago, then with their stock or whatever. So I always remembered that him in the 2012 Press Pass Fanfare with his autograph card. So I'd say,
not gonna lie, I don't know who I'd pick as his favorite. My favorite sponsor of his, then being between Krispy Kreme and Panini. It's a tough call.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 of my favorites right there. So
yeah,
and being in the South, we got Krispy Kremes almost everywhere. So, but I would say recommend you check those out if you haven't already, and also if not on Twitter, to maybe jump on Twitter and just follow the Panini America Twitter channel. So just in case they have some more of those. Well, I guess we can leave it from there. I don't know, Jason, you have any final words?
I do not. I guess I'll take that back. We talked about the Red Mojos, and I think originally we said we thought maybe they'd be like a 25 print run, but with everything that happened and the store shelves being as clear as they were so often, I'm almost wondering how many people actually redeemed them, because if they're like me, they didn't even realize it. So I would invest in those Red Mojos, especially somebody like Deegan, where it's probably going to be out there, like I said, once or twice, and if she does well, it'll just continue to go up. So that's my advice.
She ran the ARCA race at Talladega, and I think she's second in points, or she was second in points, and she ran a pretty good race. Her car was not the greatest, and she got kind of hung out with the super speedway. You have to kind of draft, and she was trying to make a move, and nobody would let her in, so she kind of went back to the back on that lead lap. But, there are some other rookies in that as well, and it says quantities are limited, so whatever that means. But I think, to your point, I think if you have the wrappers, you need to definitely send them, and if you're close to getting the wrappers, I need to try to figure out where I can get a couple more wrappers to send in. I'd love to have a pack, so
right.
They're pretty sharp. So, but thank you as always, Jason. Always a pleasure talking with you and getting your experience. Anywhere they can follow you?
Jason Dean Martin. Pretty much anywhere it's Jason Dean Martin. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't do a ton on anything, but I'm out there.
Okay. And then I'm on Twitter probably most of the time. You can always hit me up. I had some of the friends of the show hit me up on Twitter asking some questions, either about wax or maybe they were looking for, maybe not necessarily to invest, but some folks to collect, and I don't mind answering those. So it's at NascardRadio, naturally. And also I'm part of the Hobby Roundup. It's a Saturday show from 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And then there's a Monday show, which is at night for more of the West Coast, but it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm not on every week, so we kind of rotate with some of the other guys. So it's really cool. If you have questions, that's another place to call in. Again, I don't have to be on there. You guys can call in to the other folks. It's a really good group of guys. Again, thanks for listening, and please, if you share the podcast and subscribe, appreciate it. And I guess we will catch you next week.
All right, sounds good.